Hello everyone, welcome to a new series. We're having a lot of new series this month. Django. Okay, first we'll be looking at how to install and set up Django. Specifically Python and pip, those two are very useful. How to create a virtual environment which will be the place, the space that you will be modifying, creating, whatever you do with your Django projects, and then installing Django itself. Okay? Well, it's recommended that you you create the virtual environment first before installing Django. All right? Now, let's move on to the first part of our lesson. What is Django? Now, Django is a name for a Python development framework that handles all of the back end. I'm sure that you've heard of this already, but usually with a program, even with a website, you have the front end. The front end is the stuff that gets displayed to the user, okay? It's all of the visual, all of the information, all of the data that you want the users to see. Now, the back end is where a lot of stuff is hidden, right? It gets a little bit more complicated. And it handles, like algorithm, all of those like dynamic settings. So it's just the nitty gritty that supports whatever it's being shown to the user. Okay, let's say, for example, a game. A user may see a sprite and some background. If they click on spacebar, let's say, the sprite would jump. But in the back end, you have, C++, all of those coding on your Unity server, for example. Okay, so that is the difference between the front end and the back end. But I'm sure that, you've heard these terms multiple times before. Now, Django may be used concurrently with CSS, JavaScript, HTML, the common languages that you would see for the front end, and Django is in the back. And the framework in the Python development framework refers to the library that tackles a lot of the overly complicated stuff that take away your time to focus on the design, the core logic, or what you're trying to achieve with your program or website. Hence, Django contains a lot of built-in solution and features that resolve most, if not all, of your problems. The only thing that you need to do is learning how to use Django. Okay, let's move on to the next part. We're going to be checking Python and pip. Obviously, I would have a demonstration section for you. This is just to clear up anything, any confusion that you may have during my demonstration, so you don't have to rewatch the video constantly. First off, we can check the Python version and the pip version on Windows. If you're using Linux or Mac, you can just simply type in Python, but Windows is a little bit quirky, so if you just type in Python, it doesn't know what to do. So py is the way to go in the command prompt, okay? Now, if you have Python installed, which you mostly would have already, it will show you the version of the Python. And you can go to the main website to double check whether or not you have the updated version. And for the pip version, pip is also a software that's commonly used in Linux. Okay, any Linux distribution like Linux Mint or Debian. And pip will be the one that helps you to install Django. Now, you may have Python installed, but you may not have pip installed. If you do have it installed, very simply, it will just show you the version of pip that you have. But if it doesn't, it may say something like pip is not recognized, or it's not a command that Windows know. Now, you obviously can install pip manually, going to the pip website and following the instruction for Windows or Linux or Mac or whatever. But as a beginner and you don't know much about, tackling things on the back end, especially with Windows being less straightforward compared to Mac and Linux, you may run into a bit of a problem, especially with setting the path environment. So the easier way to do it is to uninstall Python if you have it, and then install it again, but during, the install windows, make sure that you have, pip checked out. So Python and pip both can install at the same time. And I will show you this in a little bit, okay? Next up is creating a virtual environment. First, create a folder on your file explorer where you want your Django project to be. And you can use cd for the command prompt in Windows. Same thing with Linux. Just press cd and then maybe you type out or you paste the folder, the Django folder that you've created, and then use the following command: python venv virtual environment, and then you name whatever name you want. Okay, it doesn't have to be my world, and this is just simply creating a virtual environment. Now you can activate it using the following code. Once activated, you can see something like this. Okay, I just shrink it a little bit, but this is roughly the format that you should expect to see if everything's going smoothly. Now you do have to remember, you must activate the virtual environment every time you use the command prompt to work on your project. So you must see this format, okay, every time you want to do anything with Django. Now, to the last part, install Django. Now, you can't just install Django willy-nilly. You have to get into your virtual environment, and the way to do that is, activating it. Same thing here. And once you activate it, you just simply type py/m pip install Django, and this is where pip comes in, as you can see. And now to make sure that you have Django installed correctly, as well as the latest version, just simply use, Django admin and then version, okay? Okay, everyone, here I have my command prompt on window. I'm going to go ahead and check whether or not I have Python and pip install. Py version. So as you can see, I have the version over there, and then pip version. Okay, so I already have pip installed as well. But in the case that it is not installed on your computer, simply you can either go into this website over here, which I will link in the description, where you can follow the guide how to install for either Linux, macOS, or Windows. Or if you want the easier route, simply head onto control panel, search in Python in the uninstall or change a program, and then simply uninstall Python. Once you did that, head over to the Python main website, download the latest version, and then once you have it downloaded, I'm going to go to my download folder. You just simply run the execution file, okay? You run it, go on to customize installation, and it will give you a bunch of options. Remember to tick the pip part, okay? After that, just install as usual, and you go back to the, go back to the command prompt, and you just type in pip -- version, and if everything's good, it should show you something like this. Okay, next up, let's head onto the folder that we're going to be messing around with our Django projects. Now, I don't want to type the whole folder name. It's actually quite long. So I'm just going to go to my folder. And then I'm going to copy address as text. Go in here and I'm going to type cd. Click on it. Django. Okay, everyone, remember it's right click. And then enter. I should be in Documents, Django. All right. Now let's create a virtual environment with py venv, and then I'm gonna make it my virtual world. Okay. Then I enter. Just have to wait a little bit for it. And now that it's installed, let's activate our virtual environment with my virtual world / remember Windows weird like that. Scripts, and then activate .bat. Okay, now we have our virtual environment ready. Let's install Django. Py pip install Django. Remember the capitalized D over here. Enter. And you should see something like this. Just keep saying installing and all that stuff, and you just need to wait for it a little bit. Once it's done, it will say successfully install Django. And then we're gonna check the Django version with Django admin, then version. Now that's it for today's lesson. I hope that you managed to get through, whatever hesitation you have with Django, and you have a good environment set up to proceed with creating magical things with Django. And thank you for watching until the end. Our next topic is going to be project creation and then view. What are they? Just need to watch on to understand. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow, and have a wonderful day.